Hello, I am Prathamesh Deshpande. I am a PhD student at IIT Bombay. I'll be presenting our work on long horizon forecasting with temporal point processes. This is a joint work with Professor Abir Dey, Professor Sunita Saravagi, and Kamlesh Marathe. In temporal point processes, events occur at an instant on a continuous time axis. For example, in social media, the time at which a tweet on a particular topic of interest occurs is an event. In a ride sharing service, the time at which a taxi picks up a customer is an event. Here, we are looking at times of tweets about US elections. This is a 20-minute snapshot of the dataset. Accurately predicting the events that are likely to occur in future is crucial for downstream planning tasks. In the tweet example, it can help to anticipate the rise of an orchestrated campaign. In ride sharing, it can help in deploying taxis in such a way that the demands are met and no taxi is left to run without getting a customer. Let us now dive into the problem. So here we describe an event as a three tuple. Ti denotes the time of occurrence of an event. Xi denotes the associated features with the time, for example, hour of the day of the week, etc. And Yi denotes type of an event. In the tweet example, type could be the ID of user who posted the tweet. Now, given an event history up to time t as ht, our goal is to predict all the events before a user specified time te. We also call this end time, and we denote the time range t to te as forecast horizon. Also, we are interested in situations where forecast horizon is large enough that the number of events that happen within the forecast horizon is quite large. For example, a few hundreds of events. We will first look at an existing baseline model that is used for this task. The baseline model is a simple recurrent neural network that predicts the time of occurrence of I plus 1th event given the history of I events. It predicts the time of occurrence in terms of a distribution whose parameters are obtained from RNN state. For parameters of time prediction, soft plus activation is used. For parameters of type prediction, softmax optimization is used. Type is typically assumed to be discrete, however, it can also be continuous. Baseline model is trained using a maximum likelihood estimate. It's a one step ahead model and trained using a teacher forcing technique in which the true events are all the true events in the history are fed to the model. Now we see how forecasting can be performed using this baseline model using forward sampling. Given this setup, the baseline and a trained baseline model, the baseline model starts predicting events as follows. It first predicts the parameters over I plus 1th event, then samples I plus 1th event using this distribution, treats this predicted event as a true event, and it is fed back to the RNN to update the hidden state and to predict the parameters over the next event. And this goes on until we reach, we predict a time which is beyond end time, and then we stop. However, as we can see, this type of forward sampling is clearly subject to drift when end time is much larger than t. We can see this empirically using two real datasets, election and taxi dataset. As we can see, as we go further in the forecast horizon, the Wasserstein distance increases. Wasserstein distance is an evaluation metric that compares the predicted event sequence with a true event sequence. There are many reasons for drift. We will see them as follows. During training, we condition on true values of the previous events as per autoregressive factorization. While this is statistically sound, it accumulates error during multi-step forecasting. This drift problem is also evident in time series forecasting, and sequence to sequence tasks. Many learning tricks are proposed for to alleviate this problem. While all these approaches work better than the baseline, our model, as we will see, provides substantial gains over these baselines. Our model, Dual TPP, is specifically designed to forecast in the long range. It contains two components. First is a microscopic view of the data, which we call event model, which is similar to what we described before. The second component offers a different and macroscopic view into the data, which we call count model. This model maintains the counts of events in a fixed time interval. Because of two parallel views into the data, our model has an element of multi-view learning. We independently train these two models and predict the values in the forecast horizon. Finally, we perform a joint inference to establish the consensus between predictions of both these models. Here we see how both the event model and count model are aligned. So each the entire time axis is divided in bins and the number of events in each bin is noted in the count data. So why count model? Here, as we can see in this diagram, it's a diagram from a real data set which denotes the number of events in each hour. This diagram clearly shows a pattern emerging in the counts of events in each hour. Hence, the count model provides strong signal about the events that will occur in that bin and which can be effectively utilized to make better accurate forecasts. Also, the count model in this way is much easier to implement and can be realized using a simple neural network architecture. Here we see our model architectures. Our event model is a recurrent neural network with GRU cell, whereas our count model is a simple feed-forward neural network with three hidden layers and a ReLU activation. The event model predicts the parameters over the next event, parameters of a distribution over the next event, whereas count model predicts the parameters over counts in a bin. Now, moving on to inference, a simple inference objective is to maximize the predict maximize the log probability of predicted events under event model. This can be solved easily by forward sampling as seen before. However, now we know that count model provides essential signal to avoid this drift, and we can effectively utilize this to make better prediction. We saw that both event and count model provide two different views into the data. Predictions from both models are often inconsistent. There is a need to establish consensus between time predictions and count predictions. So this is the consensus objective. We will look into this now. And the consensus objective has two parts, a event prediction part, a count prediction part. In event prediction part, the objective is similar to the original inference objective, whereas in count prediction part, the objective is to maximize the log probability of count of predicted events in a bin under count model. There is also a constraint that the predicted counts should be equal to number of predicted events in that bin. This constraint ensures the consensus between both the models, and this follows from consensus principle of multi-view learning. However, this inference objective is not tractable because of the unknown count and unknown events. We convert this intractable inference objective into a tractable inference objective as follows. For simplicity, let us consider first bin in the forecast horizon, and we have predicted count distribution over this bin, and we also have predicted some events using event model. Some of these events possibly spill over the bin. Now our objective is to find the best count C star and find that many events in the forecast horizon. And we want to optimize both of these jointly. Now, we simplify our inference objective as follows. It has two nested optimization problems. The outer optimization is over the counts, whereas inner optimization is over the events. Now, if we see carefully that the inner optimization problem is actually a concave problem and can be solved using any off-the-shelf QP solver. And we need to solve Cmax such optimization problems. We have to investigate each count from 1 to Cmax, and we want to select a count that has highest value of this inner objective. Now, one can always select a large enough Cmax value and be done with it. However, we can do better. We call the loss of inner optimization problem as LC, and we see that for an unconstrained count, which is 1 here, the LC is maximum, which is effectively the log likelihood of inner inner objective. And for all other counts which are not equal to 1, the LC continuously decreases. And then we can see that optimal count lies in this range, and in for any count beyond this range, the objective value is not going to be optimal. And within this range, a, an efficient binary search can be employed to further reduce the number of steps to explore, number of counts to explore. Now, in order to solve for multiple bins, we first fix the events predicted for the first bin, assume those events are true events, update the RNN state using those events, estimate Cmax for the next bin, and solve the double optimization for the next bin, and so on. Our datasets are of three types: election, taxi, and 911. The election dataset contains tweets related to presidential election results in US. Taxi contains pickup timestamps of taxis in a city, and 911 contains emergency calls related to traffic and emergency medical services. We use two evaluation metrics, one to evaluate the events predicted and another to evaluate the counts in the bins. The Wasserstein distance is used to compare the predicted events with ground truth events, and count MAE is used to compare predicted counts in a randomly sampled interval with ground truth counts. As we can see, our results on all datasets provide substantial gains beyond all baselines. The second best method, hierarchical, also performs substantially poor. In taxi dataset, we obtain huge gains in terms of count MAE, second alternative being the 3 times higher than our method. In terms of long-term forecasting, as we saw for forward sampling method, the drift increases the Wasserstein distance for events in further in the forecast horizon. However, our our method avoids the drift and does not accumulate the errors. We also evaluate the sensitivity to bin size by performing experiments with different bin sizes ranging from 15 minutes to 6 hours. And we saw that for all the bin sizes, our method outperforms the baselines. In ablation studies, we show different combinations of our model, different variants of our model to show that why dual TPP is necessary over count only or event only models. And in all these cases, dual TPP outperforms all the other variants. In conclusion, we propose dual TPP, which is specifically designed for long-term forecasting of events. It's an unconventional method of capturing drift through two independent multi-view, multi-level models. We also propose a novel inference method that establishes consensus between predictions from different views. And it provides substantially more accurate long-term event forecasts than heavier weight deep learning machinery. Thank you.